Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I did have quite a day today. Microphone. 111 check. Mic check. Okay, so we are live, I think, and we are going to have a quick look at a couple of horoscopes today. This is because I was supposed to shoot the horoscope of Russia and some other countries and some other people. I did not have enough time and energy to do it today. But let's have a quick look at what horoscopes actually tells us about foreseeable future. So first of all, we are going to have a quick look, and remember about questions and stuff and likes, and I think I have to tell you, subscribe to my channel, otherwise I don't get subscriptions, and it seems that I sort of being shadowed banned and stuff because my videos are getting very little views comparing to what they used to get. But anyways, we are focusing a bit on Russia, and I took two horoscopes of Russia. I did take SSR horoscope to have a look at from a very simple point of view. I do believe that this horoscope is still very important for Russia, such as many people want this country to be back to fully operational mode. So there is simply sentiment amongst Russians how good it was and how well it run. So let's have a look at the dates of the invasion of Ukraine, and let's have a look what progressed horoscope of Russia did back then. So that was the February 2022, and as you can see, we did have Jupiter, although in retrograde, almost touching the roots of Soviet Russia. So that's here. This is the point of roots where you're coming from, and we had Uranus on the god of war, so the god of chaos, already past the god of war. But you have to remember that this conflict in Ukraine has more than 10 years. So I think it started in 2014. So situation was tensed anyways. And the other thing is that progressed Sun and Mercury made a conjunction in that very period of time, and together they made a quincunx to this very point of roots of Soviet Russia. So that is quite interesting. And apart from that, we have, but that's still moving. So let's move forward a bit. Is Mars already touching the natal sun of Russia, of Soviet Russia? Is it? 1 second, I will move it forward. So we are in 2025, and as you can see, in 2026, Mars is going to conjunct exactly the moon of Soviet Russia and oppose the Venus of Soviet Russia, that is in Scorpio. So that would be associated with Pluto in the 4th house, that is ruled by Scorpio as well. So but the funny thing about this Venus, because I will speak about it later when we'll analyze the horoscope of current Russia. And anyway, look, the progressed moon is going to be touching Mars of Soviet Russia late January, February 2026. And as I said, this is the period of time where I would expect very many events happening all over the world. Anyway, and this is the horoscope of a country that technically speaking does not exist anymore. And then we have God of Love, Venus, that is approaching Mars in the 7th house of the partnerships, in the sign of Pisces, of Soviet Russia as well next year. So is it going to happen? Yeah, it is going to happen next year in the summer. So from the Soviet horoscope point of view, there are there are quite interesting aspects that are going to happen next spring, late winter and next spring. So we'll have this progressed Mars that is going to conjunct the solid emotions associated with communistic way of style and socialistic way of style that are going to oppose the beauty of the roots of Soviet Union, and in the same time, so that's the same aspect, Mars aspecting Venus in a way, and then we have conjunction of progressed Venus to the natal Mars of Soviet Union. Okay, these are progressed. This is a progressed horoscope of the Soviet Union. Let's have a look at the other horoscope. That would be the transits for Soviet Union. Transits for Soviet Union for the date of invasion. So, as you can see, Jupiter was aspecting the midpoint between Uranus and Mars of Soviet Union of partnerships, so that could give the push to do it as well. And we had conjunction of Venus and Mars on Mercury. So that was the day of invasion. But this is the Soviet Union horoscope, you have to remember. And a couple of days later, Sun exactly conjunct Jupiter, or the transiting Jupiter. So there was a conjunction of transiting Jupiter and transiting Sun, very close to the Soviet Union's Mars. And this is what was going on shortly after the invasion happened, or maybe it was even over on the 5th of March 2022, because as we can remember, Russian forces did not succeed. But let's have a look at the Soviet Union's horoscope. I remind you, this is the country that does not exist anymore. Soviet Union. Now, so we are still going to have the conjunction of God of Chaos Uranus aspecting the emotions of Soviet Union. Is it going to be exact conjunction or not, or is Uranus going forward from this moment on? Okay, so that's November, late November, December, January, yes. So that is another moment to look at when we'll have Moon and transiting Uranus conjuncting the emotions and opposing in the same time this line that were shown in progressed horoscope of Soviet Russia. So the beauty of the roots are going to get affected as well in a very chaotic and unpredictable way. So I would say that's the very, very late 31st of December 2025. So from the Soviet point of view, that would be a day. But Uranus is still going backwards. So it is doing the inner job. It might be just a sling that is being pulled. In the same time, you have to remember that there's a transiting Sun, Mars and Venus aspecting Sun of Soviet Union. But what we are interested in is where everything starts moving forward next year, and that is going to happen 3rd, 4th. So Uranus is going to aspect emotions of Soviet Union at least 2 more times. And as you can see, this stellium coming in and aspecting Sun and then Mercury of Soviet Union, that mid-January next year. And then all of these planets together with Pluto. Pluto is very strong, as I told you, because it is out of bounds. This is the last time Pluto is out of bounds, and it is fueled by Neptune, Saturn and Uranus in the same time, creating harmonious aspects to this very slow moving planet. And this all setup is going to trine more or less the emotions of the Soviet Union. That's gonna be mid-January 2026. So these are very strong and uplifting aspects, I would say. And Let's see where Uranus is going to pass through the moon of Soviet Union again, and Uranus is going to start moving forward at the beginning of February. And look here, let's see where the moon is, 2753, and Uranus is 27 on the 20th. We are going to have this massive conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in the first degree of Aries in the world point, and then a couple of days later, that is going to be on the 20 on the beginning of March, Uranus is going to aspect this very, very important point, because as such, from such a horoscope, it means that the emotions of Soviet Union, when it was a country, were quite fragile, so they would get offended easily. And in the same time, is Jupiter going to aspect Pluto one more time? No. But the ascendant of Soviet Union is going to get another quite dramatic and strong aspect from this conjunction. Here it is going to create a double quincunx that is going to affect how others see Soviet Russia. So that's loads of interaction in this old horoscope, the country that does not exist anymore. And now this is the most modern horoscope of Russia from 1991, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and these are the progressed planets, progressed horoscope for the day of invasion. And can we see anything interesting in this horoscope? Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so tired. Anyways, so progressed moon was creating square to natal Uranus, to this whole stellium, and in the same time, that was weeks later, no, that didn't happen yet, that's gonna be years later. At certain stage, progressed sun made conjunction with the natal Saturn of Soviet Union, so that would be the moment where the health of a country is illuminated, and it depends on the aspects in the natal horoscope. It is showing where the weaknesses are, or if it's brilliantly aspected and covered by other aspects in the natal horoscope, it can be time of extreme discipline, let's say, in upkeeping health. But we do have here a challenging aspect to the emotions of the new Russia, and so you've seen how it worked, and I'm analyzing this to show you what is going to happen next, because this is the year 2023 when we had the exact conjunction. So this is when the war probably was at full might. And in the same time, in the progressed horoscope, Mars was conjuncting the god of chaos in the 5th house of productivity. So that was the nation's war effort. And in the same time, Venus was aspecting the natal sun of not of Soviet Union, or of modern Russia. Look, all of these planets are in one stellium. Year 2029, we are going to have a conjunction of progressed Sun and Saturn in Aquarius, in the house of health of a nation, and this is going to square this line, the roots and the career of the nation in the same time. So that could indicate some sort of problem for this country, and that's quite a serious problem that's long lasting. But in the same time, you can see that Mars, Uranus and Neptune are very close to each other, and they are aspecting, this time they are going to aspect the Neptune, so the illusions, the beliefs of Russians as such, that are very classic and standard, in Capricorn, in the 5th house of creation and productivity. So the dreams may get shattered in this year 2027 by this Mars entering this, that's year 2027-28, where that's quite a strong aspect as well. And then in year 2030 we have another conjunction of Mercury with Saturn that is going to be quite interesting, because this Saturn of Russia seems to be quite interesting, because this is what I'm trying to say right now, because we are going to speak about this very point in the horoscope of modern Russia. So this is the horoscope of modern Russia, the transit horoscope of modern Russia for the day of invasion. So we had Saturn very close to the MC, and we can never be sure whether these lines are proper or not, whether someone recorded the timing well, like 1945, was it 1945, was it 1947, would make a big difference. So at this stage, this is if you have a Uranus on your MCO on Midhaven in Taurus, this is a massive shift in your career. So in case of Russia, it was, let's say, from digging oil and producing maybe food to technology and military industry instead. So that was the shift. This is what Uranus does when it enters a house and enters a sign. It does a job of revolutionizing the arcana of such a sign and house. So in case of Russia, that was to restructure finances, possessions, properties, and career as such. But the interesting transits that we are going to have next year for Russia, this is what is the apex of this video, hopefully, because I'm quite tired today, so I'll be going to bed quite soon. So this is the transits that we have for now, the 16th of November 2025, and one more interesting thing is that current modern Russia synthesizes both beauty and plutocracy and hidden states together. So that is aspect that would be associated with lots of jealousy in person's life, if you have such an aspect in your horoscope. And apart from that, that would be an aspect showing ability to be mean in a very graceful way. Let me put it this way, yeah. And that's a very powerful aspect as well. But transiting Pluto, that is very strong, as I said before, is going to aspect the natal Saturn of modern Russia. And as I said, while we had a transit of progressed Sun over this natal Saturn of Russia, the war was starting and was going on. And in March next year, we are going to have the first transit of transiting Pluto, making conjunction to this point if in Russian horoscope, and that would indicate a meeting of structures, and these are especially health structures of Russia and the governments and stuff like that, with plutocracy, with hidden governments, with hidden agendas that are joining together. They are joining forces together to perform some sort of an action. And in this case, it is one of the aspects that can be neck breaking, let's say, in a horoscope, where you have a Pluto transiting through one of your important planets. It depends on the placement of that planet in your horoscope as well. So that is going to be a major transit, and it is going to happen. Let me just check the dates for next year. For Saturn is 510, and Pluto is going to get to 510 for the first time in late March next year. So this is going to be the first transit, and I would suggest that Russia can have big problems at that time. They can be in that can be difficult. It's a difficult aspect, yeah, very difficult, and it's not going to happen just once. It's going to happen second time, third time, 1, 2, 3, 5 times, yeah, and the last one is going to be in 2027. And usually with Pluto aspects, it is very often that we find out what actually Pluto wanted from us during the last transit, and the last transit is gonna happen at the end of 2027. So I would assume that this is going to be some special time. That's for most of the countries in the world. Next couple of months is going to be extremely tough, let's say, yeah, quite challenging. And this conjunction does a trine to the lot of fortune, so Moon is in 313 and these planets are 004, Venus 313, Pluto 319. So there is going to be a series of aspects at the end of January as well regarding both Saturn and this emotions of current Russia in the same time. So Pluto is going to get extra energy from these planets, Venus, Sun, Mercury, and Mars. So that's end of January. 3rd and 4th weeks of January are going to be the preparations for Pluto touching this very point in Russian. I just thought to myself that this Pluto transiting Saturn is going to be a brute force that is going to conjunct, join forces, or synthesize. So brute force synthesizing the force of the government. This is how I see it for the first, second, and third month of 2026. Yeah. And that's it for today. This is a very important transit. I'm trying to do as many horoscopes as possible. So we can just have a general look, and I will have a proper look at that horoscopes later. Hopefully I will make it over the Christmas and look at this is a very interesting moment as well, apart from the 20th of February next year, but 2026 29th of July we will have a conjunction of transiting Sun and Jupiter opposing a conjunction of Moon and Pluto in the same time. So that could be an energetically interesting time as well, and it is going to be happening almost exactly on the axis of Russian Saturn. So I'm too tired today. Hopefully I will shoot the horoscopes that I promised to shoot today, but I was unable due to the stuff that I was doing on Sunday afternoon. And I'm very sorry that I'm shooting videos. Well, maybe I'm not very sorry, but I would like to shoot videos about doing magic and stuff, and hopefully we'll get there. But these next couple of months of next year are so important for probably everyone in the world, including myself. And I was supposed to have a surgery at the end of October, but they postponed it to a very important day for myself in January. So that's interesting, isn't it? And yes, next couple of years are going to be extremely important for the whole globe, and financial systems are going to be totally changed by Uranus, and that's gonna happen by the mid by the mid spring next year, and then we'll have a 20-year long transit of Pluto through Aquarius. So this is the plutocracy controlling the revolutions all over the world, and I would say that we are going to have a number of revolutions all over the world as well, but as always they are being controlled, and the same people or entities stay as the apex predators. And then we have Uranus, after doing the monetary job in Taurus at the end of and in the mid-spring next year, it is going to start revolutionizing the way we communicate and exchange data and information. That's gonna be global as well. So I would expect something like the .com, the practical applications of the internet, and then I think that this, AI is going to play part in it as well, but these are next 6 years that are going to explode new technologies all over the world. That's communication, internet, and the way we travel as well, and sell and buy goods. So trade will be affected as well. And then we have this massive conjunction of Saturn and Neptune next year, because it didn't really happen. It was very close last summer, but it didn't have come to the exact point, and we will have only one conjunction of Saturn and Neptune next year in the first degree of Aries. That is a world point in the horoscope, so it means that it is going to be lots of massive changes all over the world. So simultaneously, walls will be built and dissolved, and some of the walls will be imaginary, not physical. Other walls will be physical. So there is lots to talk about regarding the days to come, and they are going to be very interesting in my list and humble opinion. I hope they are not, that we are going to be like happy and everything is going to be nice and easy, but I don't really think so. And I think the massive change is coming, and you can see it in Europe, you can see it in States, and all the countries all around the world. And I think that everything will shift to Asia finally when the process is over, so, or maybe even sooner. So that there are like two empires in the world. Like we used to have Portugal and Spain that divided the world into two parts, one governed by Portugal, the other one by Spain. So we can have a similar situation. I did videos about that a number of months, maybe even years ago, so you can get back the videos with the maps that I made, how the world may look like after the process is complete, or how it already looks like. Because I assume that during this kite formation, the very strong kite formation in the summer that we had, that this Trump-Putin meeting was in a way dividing the world. So probably that Russia would take over the Eastern Europe again, and Americans would maybe even totally withdraw from Europe and would just take over South America, and would keep control over South Korea and Japan and Australia, and that would be it. And then China would take all Asia and all Africa. But we'll see how it is going to develop, whether the states are going to devour Canada and Greenland and Mexico and create one super country, because it seems that if you're not governed properly from a center of power these days, like it is done in Asia, you're out of the game. You cannot compete with companies that do have money from the market share, and then they do get lots of support from the government. So I think that these approaches are going to be changed in the Western world. But the question is, are they going to be executed in the same way they were in China, and are they going to be effective? If I've heard this story that there was like a bus line, a new 2 kilometer or 2 mile long bus line in San Francisco or Los Angeles, and just the environmental audit of this very short bus line took 2 years to complete. So the changes in the Western world are very, very slow, and if we don't do something, we're out of the game, and we'll be just countries where rich people from Asia are coming for holidays, like we used to do, going to, let's say, Morocco or Egypt, where our European money or American money meant much more. And maybe we are coming to the world where Mexico is going to be richer than an Mexican would be richer than an average citizen of United States. So these are the possibilities, and I would say that these sort of changes we could expect. They have already started. They've already started, and you can see that there is massive amount of instability in the world. So you have Ukraine, and you have Polish Belarusian border. You have Israel, Palestine, Iran, and Syria, and Taiwan. We'll see what I'm not sure about this horoscope of Taiwan that I have right now, but I assume that from the cultural point of view, both China and Taiwan, they don't go to wars if they don't really have to. I think that both sides know that the day of unification is coming sooner or later, and they do not intend to fight this war. I think that Taiwan will join like Hong Kong and Macau before, and they do not have any business in going into war with each other. It's like, what sort of business would United States have if two states went against each other? It did happen civil war in the history of United States, and the horoscope says that it might be possible to happen again next year when we have this Saturn and Neptune conjuncting the exact roots of the United States. So that used to happen. It happened, of course, with different company of different planets, and this time it is going to be different. Mostly this time it is going to be maybe not as military as it was last time, but more into building new frameworks, walls, and borders, and dissolving old ones. So things that today have borders maybe will have no borders after February 2026, and things that don't have borders, maybe they will. So maybe we will wake up one day in a small neighborhood that's fenced off from the rest of the world, and then for other people maybe borders that they were unable to cross will be open, like the aging process, for example. Maybe that will be cracked as well. I don't really think that it is going to be cracked in 2026, but maybe in 2028 or 30. We'll see. Anyway, as I'm tired, I'm going to bed right now. I wish you all the best, and I'm gonna finish this video exactly at 1:13 and 13 seconds. Or maybe before. So that's it for today.